This is a short presentation on emergency and critical care drugs. So this is the rationale why we need to talk about this topic in pharmacology. Students should understand the purpose, mechanism, and monitoring needs of drugs that are commonly used in life-threatening conditions, for example, cardiac arrest, shock, anaphylaxis, and severe infections. We can see in this table the drug classification, examples, and their use in uh, cases of emergency. The first set of drugs are the vasopressors. Examples are catecholamines like epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine. So they are primarily used to increase the blood pressure in individuals who are experiencing shock. Antiarrhythmics, so that means that it is a drug that is used for arrhythmia. So examples are amiodarone, lidocaine, and adenosine. This is to correct life-threatening arrhythmic or arrhythmia. Cardiac stimulants like again epinephrine and atropine. So they can be used to restart the heart, to stimulate the heart, and to treat bradycardia, or that is decrease heart rate. Bronchodilators like salbutamol and ipratropium. So for asthma and exacerbations of COPD. Corticosteroids like hydrocortisone and dexamethasone, they can be used for inflammation and for anaphylaxis, a type of shock. Antihistamines like diphenhydramine, Benadryl, loratadine for allergies. Anticonvulsants like diazepam, lorazepam, and phenytoin for seizure. Analgesics and anesthetics like morphine, fentanyl, and ketamine for pain management and sedation. Antibiotics, meropenem, vancomycin, ceftriaxone for sepsis, septicemia, meningitis, and severe infections. And last here in this table are the reversal agents, so that means they are the antidotes, like naloxone for opioids and flumazenil for benzodiazepines. Drugs that are used for cardiac arrest and resuscitation. So advanced cardiac life support. So that includes cardiac arrest, bradycardia, and tachycardia. So these are the drugs that we can administer: epinephrine, amiodarone, atropine, and adenosine. So what are the indications for cardiac arrest, like asystolic or ventricular fibrillation? So this is given IV every 3 to 5 minutes, 1 milligram of that. Amiodarone is for ventricular fibrillation and pulseless ventricular tachycardia, again for cases when defibrillation is unable to revive the patient. Atropine for bradycardia, so this is an anticholinergic drug, increases the heart rate. Adenosine, so this is used primarily for supraventricular tachycardia or SVT. This is given by rapid IV push, okay, and can cause a brief asystole. Shock and hypertension. Shock is a life-threatening condition wherein blood flows to tissues where there is inadequate blood supply. So this is classified as hypovolemic shock when there is generally fluid or blood loss, like in case of bleeding, or hemorrhagic accidents. So when the body loses more than 20% of the total blood volume, so a body can undergo hypovolemic shock. Then cardiogenic shock, so if the heart is unable to pump the blood properly. Then we have distributive shock, so like in septic shock and in anaphylactic shock. So septic shock, so that is, so there is an infection, and anaphylactic shock when there is an allergy. Obstructive shock is experiencing pulmonary embolism. So the drugs that are given are the following. For septic shock, it's norepinephrine. For cardiogenic shock, so that is heart failure, so dopamine. For anaphylactic shock, we give epinephrine. And for hypovolemic shock, we provide NS, or that is normal saline solution, lactate ringer solution, or we can also provide um, blood transfusion. So in case of respiratory emergencies like in asthma, okay, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and respiratory distress, we can provide the following drugs. Salbutamol, which is a beta-2 agonist, so it is going to provide bronchodilation. So it will clear the bronchial airway passageway. Ipratropium, an anticholinergic drug, can also increase bronchodilation. Theophylline, so this is also another drug for asthma, okay, but we have to note that it can be toxic, so it is also being monitored. It has a very narrow therapeutic range. Systemic steroids since they can also provide some sort of reduction in inflammation, so systemic steroids can also be provided, so by inhalation, and oxygen therapy to improve oxygenation. Always monitor the arterial blood gas, okay, oxygen saturation, and the electrolyte levels, especially potassium. For seizure, especially status epilepticus, which is characterized by prolonged seizure, okay, so that is seizure that is unable to uh, what be responsive, okay, to treatment. Okay, so we can provide diazepam, benzodiazepines, diazepam, and lorazepam, okay, and we can also provide phenytoin. So given IV, rectal, by injection, by rectal introduction, diazepam, okay, and phenytoin can be given IV. So characteristically, diazepam is fast-acting but have shorter duration, while lorazepam, so this is longer than diazepam. Okay, so phenytoin will prevent recurrent status epilepticus. So next is overdose and reversal. The antagonist for opioids receptors is naloxone or Narcan. So this is given as an antidote for overdose, okay, of opioid analgesics like morphine and fentanyl. So they provide a rapid reversal of respiratory depression. So effects may wear off before opioid, and therefore repeat dosing may be required. So last, for the laboratories, we have the following: arterial blood gas to evaluate whether there is an involvement of respiratory metabolic depression. Okay, so that is alkalosis or acidosis. Um, Electrolyte levels, say, to detect the imbalances that may affect the functioning of the heart and the nerves. CBC, okay, to detect the presence of infection, okay, bone marrow depression, and risk for bleeding. Coagulation panel, that is to monitor the anticoagulants that are given, okay, and disseminated intravascular coagulation. So if there are some blood clots in the system. Then cardiac markers, for example, troponin, so that is to check, okay, or rule out the possibility of myocardial infarction. The drug levels, because some drugs can be toxic to the body. Okay, blood culture, so that is to identify if there are infectious agents that are maybe present in the blood sample. So in case of septicemia or sepsis.